Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you all the way from Manila to discuss on powering green careers. When we talk about climate transition, we often think about technology, targets, or big goal commitments. But the real transition, one that change how we live and work, is happening through people, through the skills, mindset, and capabilities that shape every decision we take at work. Across the world, especially in India, sustainability is no longer a niche. It is becoming a common language in business, finance, and policy. In fact, India is today one of the fastest growing green job market in the world. As per the ILO report, they project about 3 million jobs or new roles upcoming in the area of green by 2030, which would be in the area of renewable, e-mobility, clean manufacturing, and climate finance. Let's take a deeper dive into a sector to understand how green careers are evolving. We will look into e-mobility sector. India's EV market is projected to grow about $100 billion by 2030, which is growing faster than most of the clean tech segments. And this momentum cuts across the value chain, from the battery chemistry to component design to the grid integration to fleet management. The future of mobility or e mobility is connected, autonomous, shared, and electric. This convergence of reshaping both technology and talent, it blends engineering, digital, and policy skills. We need battery scientists, we need charging infrastructure engineers, but we also need data analytics who will optimize the field. We need the green finance people who will provide us with the green leasing models. We need the policy experts who would design the standards and the incentives, and we need the service provider who would help us on the ground. If you will look into our cities, they are becoming a testing ground for this transition. Be it Delhi's electric bus rollout, or Pune's share mobility pilots, or Tamil Nadu's EV supply chain clusters. Each of these efforts creates opportunities not just for vehicle manufacturer, but also for utilities, software startups, logistic firms, and service providers. So when we talk about e-mobility, we are talking about a new ecosystem about the green employment and not just vehicles. What is also exciting is how the roles are becoming diverse. From sustainability strategists to ESG analysts to supply chain managers, engineers, policy experts, educators, we need all of them when it comes to green job. So it's not only one industry which is changing, it is about industry which is evolving. And if you will look into it, these green jobs, they are not limited to young professionals. They are not limited to people who are entering the workforce now. In boardrooms to the factory floor alike, all the leaders are going back to learn about sustainability because it is becoming core of their function. So, be it a CFO who used to manage the balance sheets, but now they need to understand what triple bottom line is, or how do you work with ESG disclosures, or how do you manage your portfolio, investment portfolio, using the climate and carbon lens. Or it could be an operations manager who are now looking into life cycle assessment, who are talking about circularity, who are talking about energy efficiency, or even HR or marketing professionals who are trying to embed sustainability into their narratives. So I think we are no more struggling with the question that will sustainability create a new job. It is more about how will it redefine the jobs which are already there. Whatever is your age, background, or profession, I think the most valuable skill today is ability to learn and to connect the purpose with your performance. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Ajay Palkar to start the discussion with the panelists. Dr. Palkar holds a PhD in product lifecycle and obsolescence management, and over his career, he has served as in senior leadership roles across engineering, automotive, and industrial domain. He comes with more than 35 years of experience and has a very strong background in bridging the academia and industry, especially around skill development, e mobility, and technology adoption. Most recently, Dr. Palkar has acted as advisor and consultant in automotive and defense system, and he has been involved in the discussions around EV, electronics integration, and green mobility transitions. Sir would help us guide today's dialogue and shape the flow of the discussion. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Isha, for setting up the context. Uh, it's very clear that the shift towards e-mobility and sustainability is creating a new revolution altogether in the job market, in overall ecosystem of e-mobility as well as sustainability, driving the growth in the green careers across the multiple sectors. That is what you also mentioned. So these are the result would be a dynamic landscape, probably going further. I think we will discuss this during this session, how and what best would be the dynamic landscape would open up as we progress further. So here we have three panelists. I would like to introduce the first panelist, Mr. Arindam Lahiri. Arindam Lahiri is a seasoned leader with over 30 years of experience at the intersection of industry, education, and workforce development, committed to preparing the India's talent for the future mobility. Currently, Arindam sir is working as Chief Executive Officer at Automotive Skill Development Council at New Delhi. The second panelist is Mr. Sanjay Khare, a true leader with over 3 decades of leadership across the automotive manufacturing and innovation ecosystem. Currently, Mr. Khare is serving as independent director at Lal Baba Engineering, professor of practice sustainability engineering at IIT Kanpur, uh, founder member Industry Innovation Council at T-Works, and mentor at IIM Bangalore. So welcome, Mr. Sanjay Khare. Our third panelist is Mr. Kiran Kumar Alla. Mr. Alla is an energy sector professional with 27 plus years of diverse experience in various functional roles across diverse sectors. He is a founder and principal consultant at Atmanirbhar Atmabandhu Consulting Services, active in the field of startup, mentoring, energy consulting, and career yoga counseling. So, welcome, Mr. Kiran Allah. I welcome all the participants and, of course, all the panelists. And we will start the session of question and answer, probably. I would like to first ask a question to Mr. Arandam Lairi, sir. From your experience, what makes a training or a skilling program truly industry ready? What would you know initiate the industry ready professionals? What do employers really look for beyond degree? That means the conventional education system.
Thank you, Dr. Parker, and my sincere gratitude to EV Academy for inviting me to be part of this very fascinating discussion that I anticipate today. And it's very relevant in today's context. Coming specifically to the question that you have asked me, I would like to first talk about the whole simulation of the working environment. And this is one of the big challenge that we see when a candidate or a student or an individual transitions from their academic life into or the learning cycle life to workforce life, work related life. Generally, the two environments are quite different. At a training center or an academic center, there is a certain way of doing things, certain way of learning a few things. However, the same thing changes quite a lot when you execute it in a work environment. Work environment, when I say, whether it is a factory, whether it is an office, whether it is a lab, it differs. So one of the key challenges that we see today is, traditionally in India, the industry and academia connect has not been very smooth and very deep, unlike in the West or the European markets. And therefore, India has to focus a lot more on making this connect very strong, inviting people from academia to be part of the industry and vice versa. Many a times we only think about getting a few industry experts into an academic institution as an industry academia connect. But the reverse is also very important, actually. And more importantly, how do you provide the necessary exposure to the learners to that particular environment? Uh, the other area, this is one big area. The other area is, today in terms of the change in technology, this is happening much more rapidly than what it used to be, let's say, when we started our journey in the work in the professional life more than 3 decades back. Today, vehicles, new models of vehicles, platforms are being turned around maybe 12 months, 18 months time period, whereas at our point in time, it used to be like somewhere between 3 to 5 years when a new platform would come into the market. So, with this speed of change that is happening, you cannot really ever catch up of what is really happening in the workplace and what is being trained to the individual at the training institution or academic institution. So we need to address a very fundamental piece, which is how do you make people learn a new thing? How do you build that aptitude in an individual that the individual is ready to learn a new thing, whether it's a new technology, new process, new material, whatever it is, because this is what he or she will do throughout their life. I mean, if I just go back and give a very simple example, in our times the computer lab was like the you know the most difficult place to access in an academic institution. It used to have those red lights, and you can't go in without changing your shoes and this and that. And we just didn't have enough computer time. But over a period of time, I think out of all the waking time, I would today probably be spending maybe more than 50% of my time looking at the screens, either in my mobile device or on my laptop, and doing so many different things, which is not only for me, but almost everybody in coming in from my generation. So we learned how to deal with it and how to live with it, essentially. And that is because we probably somewhere picked up that skill of, how to learn about new things, new technologies, new processes, etc. So this two areas, exposure to the real world environment and learning how to learn a new thing, I think the two most fundamental pillars of connecting the academia and the industry.
Thank you, Larry sir. Thanks for your inputs. Uh, I think one important point you did mention about, you know, uh, industry and academia connect needs a stronger relationship. What do you think? I mean, you also mentioned that, from both sides there should be attraction. But can you put some more light on this? I mean, I am also in the same field, so I'm trying to understand more on this. When it comes to industry, what kind of needs they want to, or what kind of efforts they want to put into this, because the bigger industries are definitely making efforts. I'm sure about this, but uh, within their own environments, they are not opening up properly. But the smaller industries, or maybe mid-level industries, how they can explore themselves to connect with academia and getting more exposure to their employers. Can you just put on some light on this?
Yeah, true. One of the key things I think is uh, all of us who work in an industry have actually traversed through our journey in the academic institutions. However, the challenge is that the moment we, spend a couple of years in the industry, we think we are a different kind, and the academic part is a different kind. So it's a most important thing is how do you change that mindset that you still part of that. Uh, okay. And one piece that I must highlight here is that, especially in the Indian context, that we think that there is a phase of life when you go through academics or learning, and then there is a phase of life when you work in an industry or a professional environment. But in reality, both has to happen throughout your life you know. So in fact, recently I had written a small article where I said that why haven't we in Indian academia adopted to this very, very useful model that is followed in Europe and US, where students actually do a lot of work in the campus. So a library is run by the students, a canteen operations is supported by the student, all different administrative activities in the campus is actually run by the students, and students get fairly compensated for that, actually. And though there is a higher cap that you can't do more than 20 hours in a week or whatever. Why can't we do that? It's a very simple thing in the Indian campuses, because that is what is exposing the student while they are in the learning environment about the work environment, because they are simultaneously doing the two things. Similarly, almost every company has an L&D function, but the L&D function is considered to be that, oh, we will call a corporate trainer and he will come or she will come and do some training, or we go to a 5-star, do a training. But how many of the corporates actually keep, strongly encouraging their manpower to go and spend a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks in an academic campus, inside in and living the life of a student again, you know uh, so that, unless you build in as a process, I think the industry academia is not about the transactions that I call and organize an industry session in a campus, or I just take my students in a bus load and take him to a nearby factory and expose them for 2 hours. These are very transactional elements of industry academia connect. But how do we intellectually make industry and academia connect is what is, I think, is the bigger challenge.
Yeah, you pointed out very rightly, Larry sir. I think it will definitely, there are few small things, but we miss those things. And if we focus on those things, I think we can do better. So my next question is to Mr. Sanjay Khare. Sanjay, sir, you have worked across both industry and academia. Hmm. What are the top 2 or 3 qualities that will make professionals stand out in sustainability? I think sustainability is the main area, core area of your activities and professional career. And of course, it's well connected to e-mobility careers as well. So please put some light on this.
So I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you, Isha and Sunana, for inviting us, and thank you, Peak Manifold Academy, and really wonderful interactions. So I'll say I'll take some examples of my own life. I mean, I have never been into sustainability all my life. Only thing is that thought process of sustainability came from my college days. I read a beautiful book called Small is Beautiful by E.F. Schumacher. It was much more on Gandhian thought, and I had done a course on Gandhian thought. And I was also very, very cherished sales that I was never conditioned to follow only one particular pattern, one particular way of, or one particular technology. I was trained into a very, very open system being an IITian. And so we are trained to learn a thing fast, calibrate ourselves fast, and try to adapt to it. So the time I came to Volkswagen around 2016, I think that was where there was a big need of sustainability around. And I was in charge of certain particular areas where I could contribute. So I started contributing there from simple things like water and waste. I could find that my waste management, if I can really manage it well, instead of sending those waste to landfills, I can convert them into useful things. So, for example, if I convert my old paint shop waste into uh, primer, which I started doing it with the help, obviously, of my friends, of my colleagues, we could save not just 1 or 2 rupees, we save almost 5 crore rupees a year, which we were giving into waste management costs. That was huge amount. Then another small activity I did that, I mean, my environment team was handling water. We said, why not we become a zero liquid discharge company? The time we became a zero liquid discharge company by improving the quality of our water, improving the productivity of water treatment plants, we suddenly saved upon huge amount of water which we are buying from the MIDCs, from the corporations. We were able to reuse the water. So these are two very simple things. Third thing I said that why not let's think about renewable energy. All our rooftops are lying empty, the size of a 35 football fields, and we don't have any money also. Let's try to put our ingenuity hat over there, what we can do. And we found out somebody who could bring an OPEX model of solar plants. We did not spend even a single money, and right from day one, we could get energy instead of 8 rupee 50 paisa a unit, we got it for 3 rupee 75 paisa a unit. Huge amount in an automotive plant. And that is going to be, I mean, saving the company hundreds of crores over the next 25 years. That is the plan we had. What I'm saying is that you have to try to be ingenuous. You have to be able to connect the dots well. You have to be not just knowing about sustainability as electric vehicle or sustainability as renewable energy in isolation. It's about understanding the whole ecosystem, energy, materials, supply chain, user behavior, policy making, people who can think that they ones who can create the real impact. And second thing is about how we can create the impact. It's not just only being data driven. What will really make the impact? So that point of time, my company was really into working capital pressures. So I said that why can't I save my cost for my CFO? And all my activities saved a lot of cost for him. Later upon, I did a lot of training under to be an independent director also. So post my superannuation from Skoda, I am continuing to be an independent director on boards. And what they are taking me for is for my sustainability and innovation skill sets. Sustainability and innovation cannot happen independently. They have to work together only because it's all about new technologies which you have to really interface into the existing processes. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, try to see that what value add can do. Like I was a manufacturing professional, then I moved into sustainability and board level things or into innovation things. And that's where I felt that I could contribute to be very, very open-minded, see where you can create impact and be ready to collaborate, be ready to break the walls. There'll be a lot of barriers around. Nothing has happened like that in the past. So you have to be collaborative. You have to be able to make the change, and that's where you can drive. And obviously, no doubt, as Arindam also told earlier only, that you have to be constantly upgrading yourself. So, for example, I mean, I've trained very well in the e-mobility areas. I'm teaching sustainability topics and working with the e-mobility. But what I find right now today is that personally, I mean, for me, what I'm observing, I've just moved to Bangalore and the city is expanding like anything. There are urbanization challenges coming. And it's not just one place. I'm seeing next 25, 30 years, India is going to grow at 6% every year. More than 80% of India is yet to be built. That means all this ecosystem is going to come up of green buildings, of green cities, green infrastructure, green mobility, green manufacturing. So why can't I train myself so that I can keep on being relevant and keep on being contributing? So I just recently joined IGBC, India Green Business Council, and I've given the certificate examination also. So, I mean, it's up to us to keep on updating ourselves, finding out the opportunities, who is where, who's giving what training, giving knowledge. So, I have trained myself into very diverse fields like biodiversity, ESG ratings, rankings, SDGs, renewable energy, or say life cycle assessments, multiple courses, bite-sized courses. See, as an adult, we have doing bite-sized learning. We cannot do a full big 1 semester long course. Do a small learning and implement it. One last thing I would say is that time an egg is broken from inside, life starts. But time you break it from outside, it can end up only in an omelette. What I'm trying to say is that You have to be taking initiative from your inside, find out where you can really gel in, and that's where you will be able to make a beautiful career and life for yourself, aligned to the modern world. Thank you.
I like the term bite-sized learning. I think that's very interesting. And you did mention about, there should be a collaborative effort and everybody should be open for discussion. As well, we have to, focus more on the ecosystem, and that's the target. And
Yeah,
that's where,
so see, Ajay, I mean, you being e-mobility professional very well know that today's date, I mean, mobility is defined, it's totally changed. I mean, it's not only
yes,
about,
yes,
I mean, I started from a time, my first Maruti 800, I would used to open the carburetor and the spark plugs and clean them myself. But modern vehicles with all these, all hundreds and hundreds of semiconductors inside and microprocessor or microcontroller inside, they're all connected cars, ADAS cars. I mean, automotive software is the software on the wheels right now. It's totally changed the system altogether. So you have to keep on upgrading yourself always. Keep on, new careers will evolve into e-mobility, into how do we recycle the battery, how do we make the charging ecosystem, how do we make the renewable energy ecosystem for all this. Europe is now working on battery as not a battery service, battery as a storage device inside the car. So our cars are going to be a storage device. They will, in the daytime, they'll store the energy, in the nighttime, they'll feed back into the grid. So you have to be open to all the new technologies and new possibilities and the new innovations around. Look forward to what problem you can solve for the world. Ikigai says that what you're good at, what you're skilled at, and what the world needs. Work on the intersection of the three and you'll be able to do good.
yes. Thank you, Sanjay sir. Thanks for your points. So my next question goes to Mr. Kiran Allah. Kiranji, you work closely with startups and innovators in clean energy and mobility as well. So, what kind of new career opportunities are opening up in this space, basically? Uh, not the ecosystem, but the overall, e-mobility and of course the sustainability. Both, I think you should look at, or you should connect the dots to both of these two things, looking at startups and innovators.
Definitely. Thank you, Dr. Ajay, and thanks to evACAD for doing this webinar. So there is clearly an interest, and this interest somewhere we have to realize it is not just about career, but also somewhere the deep desire to do something impactful, as Mr. Sanjay was mentioning. Right, even after superannuating, if he is doing so much, we all want to do something. That is a deep desire. I think that is where both startups and innovation, that is a common space. I'm very happy to see so many startups are happening, because at the beginning of my career in 1994, I thought I will never work in a job, but 31 years I've been only doing job. But thankfully, I got opportunity to work with mentors. That gives me the opportunity to, one, listen to the young minds and how they are approaching the problems and how they are solving. And also innovation on the other side is not a special separate thing that you do from what you do, right? So we all have certain inherent capabilities. We all go through certain education. We find certain things more interesting, some things less interesting, right? And when it comes to startups, it is, again, there is this challenge of chasing valuations, chasing visibility, chasing market shares, and particularly the outcomes. But I would say where I found innovation happening is where people were deeply connected with the problem. Most of the time there is a sense of jumping to a solution. And I'll be honest, my previous two jobs were in fuel cells and electrolyzers, and initially I never heard about them, but then when I heard about them, when I joined those companies, I realized that these technologies were invented long back, but they are becoming commercial now and finding applications because there are certain material breakthroughs, there are some commercial arrangements, and there are some new factors that are coming to play, because sustainability is now becoming more and more important, emissions are becoming important. So the context keeps changing. The technology may not fundamentally change, the solutions are already there, but therefore what is more important, I would say, is focusing on the problem properly, understanding the problem deeply, and not jumping to the solution, but staying with the problem consistently, so that you are fine tuning your solution on a continuous basis. And this is the combination of skills and competencies that are required both in startups or in corporate innovation. If you are just focusing on solving one single problem, then you are becoming unidimensional, right? While it is beneficial in the short run, it will not be transformational. It will not create a breakthrough valuation, right? Breakthrough value for all the stakeholders. Somewhere, and the last thing is, now more and more the world is becoming smaller and smaller. At the beginning of my career, you had to refer to books, physical books. You have to talk to people, you have to physically attend and carry the material, you have to make physical notes. Now everything is at your tip of your finger. I mean, maybe you don't even need to type the question. You can even audio ask the question to AI and you'll get all the answers. So information is no more the differentiator. It is your application. It is your ability to take it, synthesize it. But how do you synthesize unless you use your own experience? It is not about getting an answer from AI, but ability to ask the question, number one. And then using your experience saying that, okay, what is my experience saying? What is the current context saying? And what is information that I have? And how do I bring these things together? I think that is very, very important. And across the roles, this kind of integrated approach, the systemic approach is becoming more and more important. And while we all qualifications are important because that gives us the basics, the perspective that how do I bring my unique insight, how do I bring my unique contribution to the table, and at the same time listen to others, listen to the customers far more deeply, because ultimately customer is where the rubber meets the road. So that is where the value exchange happens. Someone, if he has to take out some money from his pocket and give it to you in return for a product or a service, you have to offer much more value, right? And when you are creating that value and offering that value, customers will chase you. You don't need to chase customers or investors or anyone, right? So similarly, even I would say even in a corporate innovation, when you are focusing on the innovation, solving the true problems for the customer, whoever internal customer or external customer, understanding them deeply, right? And going with a sustainability mindset, not just climate sustainability, but also solution sustainability, the business sustainability, right? It is not a one-time effort. We want to create processes rather than one outcome. We want to create the processes that can be replicated, that can be implemented by other people. I think this is where I see the differentiation between successful startups that are making progress or innovators who are able to do impact, and those who are trying to do. A lot of ideas are there, and ideas are no more a differentiator these days. It is the ability to follow through, implement them, go through the troubles, go through the difficult cycles, and being willing to be flexible to bend where necessary. I think these are the things that are happening, and so many careers are coming up. Careers can be on the technical side, careers can be on the an interface, a techno-commercial interface, and then careers can be on the implementation. That means making this idea, making this product or solution into a valuable offering to the customer. And technologists are today having to communicate, and communication guys have to learn technology. So there is no more hard differentiation between functions or capabilities. We all have to look at that integration, and therefore there should be an overlap between what I do and what my other department does, so that it is seamless. There is no divisions and no more silo based success, right? So a lot of careers are coming up. You just have to connect with what your core competence you think is and what your offering is, and look at how you can contribute to the sector. So that's what comes to my mind at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiran sir. I think you pointed out very well on this topic. I understand. I mean, idea is, the whole innovation starts from idea generation itself. And ideas you get from nature. That is what I personally feel, because I was just looking at some podcast or some videos where nature gives you lot many things. Like, aircraft itself is from the concept of flying birds. Huh? Then moth generates 3-4 different frequencies to divert predators. So these are the few things which are already there in the nature, and those ideas should come from nature itself. That will generate lot many things, and there would be lot many innovators, and there
Yeah,
would be a
Ajay,
boost
the,
on
the term
startups.
term used for that is biomimicry. The time you can do biomimicry and put it
Yes,
into the real
yes,
life.
Yeah.
very true. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for this. So I would like to now ask a question to Lahiri sir. Lahiri sir, many professionals, maybe young professionals as well as seniors or the professionals who are already there in the system for some more years. Uh, they want to enter into a different sector. Maybe they want to diverse from their current sectors to another sectors, but they don't know where to start. What are the most valuable skills they can begin building right now? Can you just put some light on this?
Yeah, I think that is quite relevant in today's context because people or a lot of professionals are actually doing 2, 3 different careers or different areas of operation over a period of time in their lives, not sticking to only one industry as it used to be at some point in time. I personally, for instance, I started in manufacturing in automotive, was there for overall about 10 years in a couple of companies, but then shifted to education and training. And at that point in time, I think this was not so commonplace, and people were very surprised that there must be something wrong with this guy, why he's changing his profession. But today, I think it's much more commonplace. You could be a chartered accountant at the same time making movies, and maybe at the same point in time you might be doing a tech startup, and this kind of stuff is happening. So when you are looking to do something, first and foremost, I think is important for you to answer that question: what is it that attracts me to this particular opportunity, and therefore it is very important for people to get an exposure to whatever they are wanting to learn. So let's say somebody has been very, and I'm just taking an example because we are in a electric mobility session. I'm saying that somebody is basically come from a background of engine design, let's say, and now wants to also explore this opportunity that how can I do systems design engineering for electric vehicles, for different class of vehicles. It's very important for the individual to kind of get an exposure to what are the changes that are going to be there in terms of the skills and their competencies. Understand that from existing professionals in that area. Attend a few maybe webinars, seminars, and these are much more accessible in today's context. And especially if you start doing your Google search on these areas, Google will automatically give you a lot more of recommendations because that's how Google works. Yeah, or you can take your ChatGPT or whatever, but those are only for guidance purposes. Individually, I think an individual must try and get a better clarity, as much better clarity as you can get as an individual, that you need to ensure that you have a clarity as to why you are going to do something new, and therefore you have a better understanding that what is lacking in me that will not allow me to do something new, and therefore I know exactly what am I going to do. So while it may sound very simple, it's a very complex thing to do. So the only route to this is getting more exposure to what you want to actually learn. Sanjay-san was just talking about, doing some of these programs that he's already done in bite-sized learning. The idea of such bite-sized learning is essentially to ensure that while I'm doing this and I'm investing some amount of my time, I am realizing whether this is something which excites me. Am I cut out for this kind of a work? And these are very, I would say, I wouldn't say very easy, but relatively quite easy in today's context. because you have a lot of e-learning, m-learning, small workshops that are happening all everywhere, and take advantage of that before you want to deep dive into that area. And if you decide to do so, then you may choose a slightly longer term intervention of a certificate program spread over a few weeks or so, and then start picking up some assignments and work in that area, so that you also know how to apply what you are learning a little bit. Just being an assistant to somebody or an intern, our mindset is that you can only be an intern at the age of 20, 25, but you can be an intern at the age of 60 also, because if you're doing something new, you basically starting as an intern. So do your internship, do your apprenticeship, and learn about a new thing.
Thank you, sir. I think it's very clear that every individual has to have questions in mind: why, what, when, and how. And definitely, with those questions, he would himself answers and decides how he is going to focus what kind of career uh, he wants to achieve. So thanks, Larry, sir. My next question goes to Mr. Sanjay Khare. Uh, Sanjay ji, what advice would you give to working professionals from, you know, uh, traditional sectors like, oil, gas, or auto or finance, uh, who now wants to transition into green and sustainability roles as such?
So, thank you, Ajay. And very good question. And my one simple answer is do not underestimate what you already know. Try to leverage upon that. Your operational or financial expertise can be repurposed beautifully for sustainability goals, which can bring profitability to your organizations, which can solve problems for the world. I think there was somebody asking a question, how can we monetize sustainability? Our purpose should not be to monetize sustainability. Purpose should be to solve the problems for the world. Also look for somewhere where people will be ready to pay you for that solution. What is the mode that you're bringing? What's the unique thing that you're building in your processes? As I told about the earlier word ikigai, what you love to do, what the world needs, what you're skilled to, and last is about what the world can pay you for. Think about those particular things. For example, a lot of things people are moving into, say, circular economy or green finance areas. So, for example, somebody is a finance professional, he's been working into accounting and taxation, try to see what is it that CBAM doing. Right now, I got independent directorship because of my expertise in sustainability of a company which is doing exports to Europe. And everywhere, over there, if you have to export a steel product over there, to see what is the embedded amount of carbon into that. A lot of things are needed for that. So you have to see where exactly your skill set, existing skill set, can be used in the new business environment. Or for example, if you're a legal professional, then very well you have to be aware of what are the various legal things happening around this type. For example, India has got their own BRSR report. As a chartered accountant, as a professional on company secretary, we have to know about the BRSR and about how to really implement wherever possible. Try to implement things in your respective areas, not just for your learning, but for making small improvements. Keep on learning, keep on those learning, because I'm also learning, because tomorrow I'll always find somebody who's needing my knowledge. So whatever I did in my industry career as a sustainability expert, as a not as a person of change management to drive to drive the net zero industries. I think same as educational campuses are asking me for today. Sir, can you help us drive the net zero campus programs? You have to continuously keep on upgrading yourselves, keep on finding out what has been your core area. Know very well your core. See, right now, Arinda was also telling about what exactly is your, transferability of skills. There's something known as transferable skills and something known as core skills for a sector. Transferable skills like your ability to learn, ability to negotiate, ability to face change, ability to communicate, all those things will always remain across the sectors. So you have to see what are your core values. Whether I am very fortunate. Me and Arinda both have worked for a company where some beautiful core values were there. Like customer obsession was first value. Second value was openness, learning, innovation, and creativity. networking and partnership. So all those things have become ingrained into us, and whatever sector you take me, whatever areas you take me, these things will remain. Think where exactly your core value is and how it can align to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thanks for your inputs. I think looking at the time, we uh, we will take only one question, and I think Kiran sir, for you, the question is, uh, what combination of technical and managerial skills do you think will make professionals future ready in the green economy?
Sure, thank you. I think the fundamental thing every individual needs to really focus on, whether as an entrepreneur or the career or a startup or anything, is leading self is very, very important. It's a foundation on which we build everything else, right? And you might have to dig down rather than build up, right? So you might be doing a lot of work internally rather than outside. It may not show up anywhere, it may not come into qualification, but that is a foundation on which you build yourself. And that is such an integrating thing that everything that you do will become additive. What you do at work will help you in your personal life, and what you do properly in your life will help you in your career, because there is no division in our life. We think they are all separate, but they are not separate, like academics versus work, like Dr. Arindam earlier said, same thing. So that is one fundamental thing. I would encourage everyone to invest time, if required money, right? You have to take dedicated time out on a monthly basis, right? I'll spend so many hours in this month on my personal development, self-leadership. Technical skills, see, as information, as industries starts converging, right? So earlier it was ICT convergence, computers, information, right? And telecommunication, they were converging. Now energy is converging from everywhere, right? So energy, different forms of energy, electricity, oil, gas, hydrogen, battery, everything is converging. I mean, earlier I used to, and when I was in electricity, I used to think electricity is energy. Then I realized that it is only 20%, 80% is something else. When I went to fuel cells, I realized, oh, gas, oh, such a huge energy supplier. Now, when I came to hydrogen, I realized how they are all interconnected. Somewhere the ability to see these connections in the technology that you are in, or adjacencies of the technologies and everything else that is in the sector. So while going deeper into your work, also develop a slightly kind of broad-based perspective. So on it, so that you are a T kind of professional. So you are sufficiently broad enough, but sufficiently, reasonably deep enough. So there is value for you. Ultimately, we have to offer value, whether it is to our customer or to our employer or to the startup or the investor. Ultimately, they should see benefit from you being able to bring things together. That, I think, is a super skill. And you have to obviously trust yourself, your experience, your competence, rather than trying to learn a lot of new things, right? So you have to look at, okay, what is my adjacency? I know this, okay, if I know EVs, if I know grid, I might feel better. If I know charging, for example, there is so much of protocols getting developed, a lot of communication is happening. So that adjacencies is how you kind of deepen your technological capabilities and your value to the ecosystem.
Thank you, Kiran sir. Thanks for your inputs. I think one should look at, investing time for mainly for the personal development. And if he could contribute, identifying what exactly he wants to do, and then they can be maybe self-leaders, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. I'll give a small example, quick example in a second.
Yeah.
After my MBA, when I joined the power transmission company, my boss said, "Hey, Kiran, you have a electrical engineering degree also. So why don't you do project monitoring?" I said, I mean, in Indian culture, we don't say no, right? So,
Yeah, very true.
but then I was shocked. I was thinking, okay, I mean, I learned financial modeling and you're asking me to project development. For a moment, I was taken aback. So then I requested him, sir, I will contribute to that, but I primarily did my MBA to kind of contribute in financial modeling. I want to deepen my capabilities, but I will do the technical support. And over a period of time, my role became that I was in between the engineering and then the financial and policy guys. So I could play that bridge by being able to express my desire to work on financial modeling rather than simply taking the job and then going and silently. And it was valued because I kind of brought both of them together. So we have to kind of open our mouths, right? It is good to say always yes, because it is least resistance path. But I think we have to stand up for ourselves in a contributory manner.
Very true, Kiran sir. So thank you all three panelists. I think it's a very interactive kind of discussion. Over to Isha. Isha, what are if there are questions from the participants? Can we take those questions now?
I think most of the questions have been responded to on the chat.
Hmm. Just check.
There is one open question which talks about moving to EV from fossil fuel. The end charging EV is electricity being generated from the coal. Is that sustainability in true sense?
I'll take that question. Um, so there are two parts of mobility. I'll tell you the bigger ecosystem. So almost every year we are emitting almost 45 to 50 gigatons of CO2 in the atmosphere. And more than 2,400 gigatons have been emitted towards the last 150 years. And that is what has caused the global warming. So now question is that how we reduce the emissions. So again, you divide it into 5 areas. Almost 30% of emissions come from energy generation. How do we generate energy? Kiran is a person sitting from the energy sector. Traditionally, we have been generating it through coal or through fossil fuels, diesel. Slowly, we're moving to renewable energy sources. So that is an independent area to work upon. Second area is about how do we manufacture things. And again, almost 30% of emission goes into manufacturing basic materials and metals, steel, cement, concrete, which are really very, I'll say, very difficult to really abate sectors are there. And over there, a lot of possible, like for aviation fuel is a big area to work upon where people are working upon biofuels, other fuels to move them into a much more, what you call say, sustainable fuel, sustainable areas. Third area is almost 16% of emissions comes from transportation. Now, our job as a transportation engineers or the basic engineers that we move to EV, electric motor is the most efficient method of energy transmission as compared to IC engines or as compared to other gasoline engines. They are the most efficient methods, and we move to that. And parallelly, the charging systems are getting developed, like India is developing in a very big way on the 4.5 gigawatt, sorry, 450 gigawatt of solar energy, Indian International Solar Energy Alliance. Lot many things are happening. So let the two things be totally independent. Other than that, there are two areas of our built up environment, urbanization, farm sector, which are causing emissions. But that's where I've told you that we have to work in two independent paths. How do we really convert the source of energy into green energy, and how we convert the use of energy in mobility to a green method of, so that there is a zero emission vehicles we have. That is what the electric vehicles we're talking. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay ji. Thanks for this. Any more questions? There is one
Yes,
question from Murugaran, right?
So yeah, there is a vehicle body construction. Is there a difference between EV and engine-driven vehicles? Obviously, yes. The EV, whatever new vehicles are being designed, they're designed on a different platform altogether, which is basically electric platforms. And the traditional ones were there to for the IC engines. Retrofits did happen, will happen in the transition stage, but finally we have platforms which are purely meant for electric vehicles.
Yeah, we have hybrids as well, hybrids and specific to EV design. I think one question was on the solid state technology. Yeah, when you are expecting solid state or sodium ion batteries comes into play with respect to manufacturing.
Again, I'll take up this question on technology part. See, the time I'm talking of 1990s and say early 2000s. I mean, I was driving a car without any AC at that point of time. That the first time the ACs came, we are really very, stuck up on the red, on the red lights. With the vehicle would not start again. My CNG vehicle was giving me 15% less power. So slowly, it takes time for them to stabilize on the technology. It takes technology specific. See, IC engines have stabilized over the last 150 years, or almost 125 years. So you cannot say that everything will get passed in any sector, but things are happening. Even today, we are I mean, I think lot many sodium battery cells, everything are coming up. Technology takes time. We put our eggs into multiple baskets, and some of them will really mature.
It is going to take time for sure. So we are from the EV point of view, and of course from the battery technology point of view, we are learning a lot. We are learning. The whole world is learning a lot, and a lot of studies, lot of research work is already going on. So it is definitely going to take a time. So any other questions?
There is one question on hydrogen. Uh, is hydrogen a good choice for green energy like combustion or FCEV? But people are saying it's poor due to energy density. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, hydrogen is little tricky in that sense because volumetric energy density versus general weight-wise energy density are two different things. However, when you combine it with the electric vehicle efficiency, fuel cells definitely offer a proper viable solution. The company that I worked with earlier, they have done 60,000 forklift trucks which were using batteries earlier into fuel cell powered hydrogen powered fuel cells. Right. So it has been very successful. The adoption is increasing. However, I think we have to look at the economics and the technologies. If there is low usage, I think batteries will serve the purpose. But if it's a long distance and where you don't have grid access, right? So in those kind of scenarios, hydrogen will definitely be beneficial. So there is some overlap where both batteries and fuel cells might compete, but they are very complementary technologies. In fact, fuel cells also use some batteries, and using that, they will overcome the load variation challenges and all. Hydrogen storage, a lot of new technologies are coming apart from gaseous. There is liquid hydrogen. Compression is increasing from 350 bar to 700 bar. And there is also a new technology which is coming where hydrogen can be stored in a different manner in a solid state material as well. So a lot of improvement is happening. Ultimately, see, I don't know whether hydrogen will be directly used or not, but hydrogen will act as a bridge between electricity generated and energy that can be stored. So I don't think we need to get carried away either saying that, oh, hydrogen is the only solution, or no, hydrogen is completely useless. It is going to play an important role, whether it will be 15% of the energy share or 5% of the energy share. It still is really critical for the decarbonization puzzle. It's one of the critical pieces. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allah. So it's very clear that it's a dynamic landscape for EVs and the sustainability topic. Uh, we 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 did mention about pointing a lot of things like strong technical foundation, adaptability to innovation, sustainability mindset we need to have, problem solving abilities we need to have. Of course, we touched upon the collaboration and communication between the industry and academy is must. So with all this, I think we are at the end of the session. I thank all the participants here who have, on their own actively participated to understand more on this, sustainability and EV landscape. I also thank panelists. I think your views and your inputs are valued, and we will definitely, look into developing something on this and, support the ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Dr. Palkar, for that excellent summary and for moderating today's session so seamlessly. So on behalf of P Manifold and evACAD, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all the panelists, Mr. Arindam sir, Professor Sanjay sir, Mr. Kiran sir, for sharing such valuable insights. Each of you have highlighted critical aspects of how we can build a future-ready workforce in the e-mobility and sustainability space. Today's discussion brought out some very meaningful takeaways: the importance of practical, industry aligned trainings to bridge the gap between academia and real world needs, the role of continuous learning in fast evolving domains like sustainability and clean technology, and the value of innovative teaching tools. What we heard today reinforces one clear message: the green transition isn't just an environmental shift, it's a skill revolution The professionals who will thrive are those who can connect sustainability with strategy and purpose with performance. Innovation in solving a problem needs a deeper understanding of the value you are providing and its sustainability, not only environmental but its own sustenance. That's exactly the mindset we are nurturing through the postgraduate executive program in Net Zero Strategy and Sustainability Leadership, which is co-created by IIM Kashipur and evACAD. It's designed for working professionals across age groups and sectors who want to translate today's discussions into tomorrow's leadership actions. So, for those who resonate with what our speakers shared, I encourage you all to explore the program. It's not just about learning sustainability, it's about leading it.